I'm massively pissed off with myself about that. I hate breaking stuff, and look what I've done. Can I say on this programme?
I said you can say
Okay. Right, we'll have to put some fuel in it then, so we can crash it some more. Can you do this, because I'm depressed, I'm going for a walk.
Okay, well, come back within about half an hour, will you?
All right.
Right. James!
What?
How do you open it?
It just unscrews.
Which way? Oh, I know.
Anti-clockwise.
Righty-tighty. Got it.
Lefty-loosey.
Oh, this really is too bad. We're going to Ridge Vineyards. They're fantastically famous, and we're late. I hate being late for these people. I mean, basically, they probably had a fantastic lunch all lined up. There's lovely tasting samples. We had 20 or 30 different tasting samples of different bits of the vineyard. Actually, all gorgeous, beautiful Cabernet, Syrah. James.
Can we go and look at a vineyard and talk about gravel? Please? Oh, God, look at this bend, man. We're not going to get around this one in one.
No, we're not. Anything behind us?
I think bits of the bus are grounding out, so we've probably broken something else now. Did you know this road was like this before you brought me up here?
Oh, James, it'll be worth the pain. This isn't a drive, it's a pilgrimage to learn a new wine philosophy at the feet of a master. Paul Draper, he's one of my heroes. He's world-renowned for his Montebello Cabernet Sauvignon and his Zinfandel blends. He's discovered ancient vineyards all over California, full of Zinfandel vines, but with wonderful old varieties like Petit Syrah and Carignan in there as well. He mixes them all together, so each year's blend will be intriguingly different. Ridge is a special wine because Paul is a special guy. One of the first people I ever met in wine who talked to me as an intelligent human being, shared everything that he knew about wine, but also about life. And it's as though he draws some kind of blood out of the earth and puts it into the wine. And I always find it in his, and I always have a smile of old-term recognition and affection whenever I open a bottle of Ridge wine.
Now, you might have noticed I'm not actually drinking any of this blended wine. Not only do I have to listen to Oz's fawning, I'm the designated driver, yet again. I've come up the world's most unsuitable road in the world's least appropriate vehicle with Oz Clarke to sit and not drink some wines produced by one of his posh intellectual friends that cost $75 a bottle.
This amazing plot of land absolutely on the top of this mountain. Why did someone come here? And 125 years later, are you still preserving something of that original vision? Can you do that?
I think that in the 19th century in California, I think it all started with small vineyards producing their own wine. And it's the problem of our society today wanting something that the critics tell them they should want, that's overripe or that's homogeneous, that's consensus. It's what everybody thinks wine should taste like, rather than the individual character of that particular person, let alone that particular wine, that particular place it's grown. And to me, that's much more interesting. Otherwise, you're manufacturing a beverage, and that, to me, is boring.
This may surprise you. I have had a bottle of Ridge wine in a pub in Britain, not very far from your house, as it happens, but I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I remember that it was extremely nice.
I can remember
quite
precisely which one
expensive.
it was because I paid the bill and I was with you.
Were you?
This rather worries me, you know. The one that he's talking about, I bought for him, he drank half of, I paid, he's forgotten.
You've served me very badly today.
My head...
You've brought me on a big wine holiday, or whatever it's called.
It's called a wine educational trip, to try and make you understand the nuances of New World and California.
Bringing me up here to give me a wine education and not allowing me to drink is a bit like saying, I'm going to teach you all about Shakespeare, you're not allowed to read it though. Come on, you've brought me all the way up to the top of the hill in an impossible bus.
This is a wonderful bloody place.
On an impossible road.
Yes.
Impossible to drive up here, and at the top I get a glass of water because it's just an elaborate excuse for you to come and visit your posh friends, who are delightful, I would agree. But it's time to go home and I've got to drive the bus down the impossible road. It's home time, wherever home is going to be tonight. Wherever it is, I know it'll go drrrr. That's all I know for certain. It's been the worst day of the trip so far, and as we leave, I begin to formulate a plan for revenge. I'm going to make Oz do some driving, but I'm a reasonable man, so he can have a drink as well. The next day, we head for the fun fair at Santa Cruz. Oz chose the wines for its gala opening in 1909. I've devised a challenge that will test Oz's palate while allowing him to prove that he can identify the sort of wines that normal people drink.
Your wine, sir.
Absolutely masses.
I want to see how sophisticated your palate is, because obviously when you're devoting your whole attention to identifying the grape, then you'll be very good at it. But can you do it? Can you multitask, actually, as a wine connoisseur? That's what
I'm a bloke, of course I can't multitask.
Right, viewers, the first wine Oz is tasting is a Shiraz, and because I chose it, it's a cheap, mass-produced one.
So I would think it's got a possibly Cabernet Sauvignon. It's not very wooded.
Let me at it.
I'll just try and stop it, okay? Stop it. Everyone else is... Fine, away.
What is it?
It's tannic. Cabernet Sauvignon.
Wrong. It's a Shiraz.
Nonsense.
Next, another cheap drink that was a huge hit with consumers in the 70s.
This is a white wine. So when you spill this on yourself, that'll clean your t-shirts. If you can get this exactly right, I'll give you $100.
Ah. Because I quite like those kind of challenges.
I know.
Okay. Nice and easy. Let's see how it goes. Just a minute, just a minute.
Let the wine pour.
A horrible...
Like to make a guess?
This is the most disgusting glass of white wine I think I've ever had in my life. It cannot be Californian. It's just... It can't be New World. It's got to be something frightful from the old world. It's French.
No, it isn't.
It's not English.
No.
Welsh.
No. Well, you can't do it by elimination when you're
Polish.
an educated guess. This is a brand wine, the sort of thing you're always complaining about. Come on.
Blue Nun.
Yes!
Blue Nun. After cleaning myself up and washing my mouth out, we're back on the road to meet another big name in the world of wine blending. Randall Graham is the original artisan, loving all things European. He takes grapes from all over California and mixes them up into highly idiosyncratic wines that are the toast of fine restaurants all around the world. Unlike most Californians, he uses grapes you may never have heard of.
Oh, look at that.
That is extremely nice. Now, that is a car that I could be very boring about for at least 2 hours. Citroën DS is the greatest single quantum leap in automotive technology ever made.
Oh, do keep your mind on the job, May.
Let me show you something very, very odd. I believe that moving water through this kind of course actually changes the nature of the water or the liquid itself.
Who sold you this?
Bloody hippie nonsense. So much for Randall's plastic buttocks water purifier. Let's try some of his juice straight from the source.
What does he mean by juice?
Well, astonishingly, he means juice.
Juice.
I think it smells of stalks of grapes. Or something
I
else.
think it smells like
Sort of
skins
green.
of grapes.
Something about maybe skin.
Skins or stalks, but skin's more for me.
And slightly of tea, actually.
Yes,
That's
that is very true.
Yeah. That's a little bit of an oxidized element. When
Tea.
juice oxidizes, it smells like tea.
Okay.
Yes.
Randall is renowned for his alternative approach to wine, blending grape varieties like Pigato, Sangiovese and Sanso. But today, we're going to be tasting one of his wines made purely from the muscat grape. This is often used in sweeter wines, but in Randall's unconventional hands, what will we have in store?
Screw cap. Again.
Good. What is it?
This is called Moscato Giallo. It's kind of an obscure muscat grape variety.
So will this be quite sweet?
Teeny bit sweet, not too much.
Muscat comes from up sort of Alsace way, doesn't it?
That's one place. That's where the dry stuff comes from. It's delicious up there. More likely to come from around the Mediterranean.
Oh, this has got a slight hint of Parma violet in it.
Ah, good.
Is that right?
Very nice, very nice.
I'd enjoy...
Lovely grapey quality. Now, when
Yeah.
you're talking about why don't wines taste of grapes?
That
well,
does taste of
this one
grapes,
does, doesn't
yes.
it? One of the few.
That's... See, I quite like wines that you just drink as wine. So I know there's this, cult of matching food and wine, and that's all very clever, but I like the idea of a wine that I will sit and drink and, as you would say, it will just very briefly transform my life and reveal to me something that wasn't there before, as if holes in pieces of paper temporarily line up and allow me to see further and then sort of close again. It's that thing. You know what I mean, though?
More or less.
Now who's gone all hippie?
Like the infinity of space, and very briefly you think, oh no, it's gone.
Randall might wear challenging spectacles and sport a ponytail, but don't be fooled. This hippie winemaking has bought him this luxurious home, where he's kindly invited us to a soiree.
The whole objective of it seems your life in wine is to instill in the wine your personality and the personality of the place that these grapes came from, and wind them all together in a beautiful sort of fandango, which seems to go on forever and at last. But I mean,
Oh God, not again.
Real wines are subtle, they're fragile, they're like gifted children that don't really belong in the mainstream. They really, I think, are wines that are appreciated by a very small number of people.
there seems to be an enormous rising tide of these big brands. I don't mind they exist, but I start saying to myself, can we live with them? Can we fight against them? Or can we benefit from them?
Can a consumer who is exposed to sort of good, well-made, essentially ordinary wine make this leap of imagination into extraordinary wine? Does that ever happen? I wonder. I don't know.
I quite like those simple, cheap wines in the same way that I quite like eating spam. I like eating this very nice, very sophisticated food as well. It's lovely, but I do quite like eating spam, as indeed you do, if you're honest, and you like a pie, and you like a Cornish pasty from the petrol station, and you like those stupid crisps, and you quite like Captain Crunch. You do like all that stuff, don't you? Be honest. I'm not going to buy into this idea that, oh, the world is being brought to its knees by marketing and giant corporations. They're just making drinks, and they're introducing more people to drink, and they're establishing a culture of wine drinking that allows the frankly arty-farty stuff at the top to exist. Tomorrow we're going to meet this man, I think they call him $2 Chuck, who believes that wine is too expensive, and he's made a wine for the general public to consume at a very low price. Now, I'm absolutely sure it won't be a brilliant wine, but the fact is I like his attitude, and I'm very keen to meet him because he understands that wine has to be of the people first.
So it seems all my attempts to educate James about the art of fine wine blending have fallen on deaf ears.